Posting issues. Now, this is a rather broad topic. There's a lot of different things that you may encounter, but we covered the 5 basic things that you may run into, and you may be scratching your head or you're having a panic attack because something's going on and you need to post this and get this cut. The 5 most common things that you might run into: my post is missing. If you look at the dialog here, you have the select post processor dialog. I'll show you that, how to get to that. Where you select your post, current post processor, it's empty. So if you run into that, you're going to be worrying, I need a post, so where did it go and why is it empty? So we're going to talk about that. Your posted file extension is wrong. If you need to post a .nc file or a .prg file or a .tap file, and for some reason it's posting a different extension and your controller can't read that, so you got a problem. So you need to know where that's controlled and how to make sure that doesn't happen. When I pick post, nothing happens. So obviously that's a problem. So if you have it set up, if you don't have it set up to automatically post to a different certain folder, etc., and you're expecting that dialog to pop up to tell you where, to let you define the name of the file and where to post it to, if that's not displaying, then you're going to be in a panic mode. So we're going to talk about that. I can't locate the G-code file after you post it. You thought you posted it in the right place, but for some reason you can't find it. So we'll talk about those. And a lot of these things are just dialogue specific things that you can check and double check and make sure that everything is set correctly so that none of these things happen. If you open up a program and you see that your post is missing, okay, why does this happen? Well, sometimes you may have opened a part where your post is located somewhere that's not defined here. Okay, so you see this path right here, the factory default path for where the posts are when you install the program. Okay, so if you have a part that was maybe programmed a year ago, maybe on a different version of the program, say, and you still have that pointed to the old program path, let's say you uninstalled that, or let's say you installed it to a different path. So what I'm getting at here is that it's looking at this path to find your post. If it doesn't see a post in this path, it will be blank, okay? Because there's no post there. So you need to make sure that you understand, A, where your posts are on this computer or on your network drive or wherever it's at, and that location is specified, okay? And what we recommend is that specifically, most importantly, if you have a post that you have edited or we have customized or edited for you and we send you a post definition file, don't put that post back in this, install path. We recommend that you just put it on your desktop, okay? Your desktop never changes. It's always the desktop. It doesn't move. If you're on your computer, your desktop's always going to be there and your post is always going to be found. You can point it, use this dialog here, point it to your desktop, and it will always be there, no matter what part you open, no matter what version of the product you run. If you have it set, your posts are located on your desktop. If you have more than one post, let's say you have 5 different machines, you got 5 different posts, put all of the post definition files on your desktop and leave them there, okay? That way you'll never run into a problem of missing posts. You would not believe how many times people run into this, especially when they install a new version of the program. So say going from 22 to 23, and 22 they had their posts somewhere else, and 23, now 23 doesn't know where those posts are, okay? So understand where your post definitions files are, and make sure the program is pointed to that location. Once you set that, there's a way to have it set like that for all the time. And to do that, there's a number of different ways. You can set your program defaults. You can load certain default parameters. For instance, over here on the, let's see, the machining here, you can set default parameters. You can set those to different parameter files. This can control what parameters are loaded when you open up a new part, or even when you open up an existing part. Also, what may come into play is in your user interface tab of your CAM preferences. You have saved preferences here. So if you just look at these, if you have this problem and you have figured it out, you got it fixed, and you have your posts where you know they're at, and you want it to always be that way, go to the preferences, pick the save current preferences to registry. It'll save it to your Windows registry. It'll always be in that location when you start a new file. Also, if you have them saved in your registry and you have none of these checked, it's not going to pick up any preferences from your file. If you have this checked, it's going to automatically load the preferences from the file. So if you have a file that's pointing in the wrong place and you have this checked, it's going to try to find a post in that location, and it's not going to find it. Okay, so just look at these save preferences and understand in your mind what's happening with each one of these options when you open a file, when you save a file, or when you open a new file. So this is an area that can cause you problems related to posting, or at least where your posts are. Now, the posted file extension is wrong. If you go again to your preferences and you go to post processing, there's an option here. Now, in previous versions, it wasn't always in the CAM preferences. In previous versions, if you're coming from an older version to a newer version, it used to be over here, but we moved it. So just so you understand, it's all now in the post-processing area, posted file extension. Okay, we got a number. You may have a number, you may not have any in this list. You can define what your list is by adding a new extension, and then it'll be in your list. So make sure that it's selected. You pick OK. It'll always use that posted file extension. Or we have another option here. You can define your posted file extension based on your post definition. So you may have, like I mentioned, you may have 5 different machines. Maybe they use 5 different post file extensions. One's a .nc, one's a .tap, etc. So you can define the extension in the post processor, and then when you use that post, it'll automatically, if you have this checked, it'll automatically grab that extension based on the post that you have selected. Okay, so what's the next one here? The posted, we've mentioned the posted G-code is incorrect. That really doesn't have nothing to do with preferences. Can't locate your G-code file. Check on your preferences, again, in your post-processing. Actually, it's in the user interface section, I believe. You have, where's that option here? Where is that? I guess it is on post. Show output dialog when post-processing. If you don't have this checked, that post and save as dialog is not going to display. So if you go post, okay, this dialog right here, that's your post and save as dialog. If you don't have that option checked, let's just go back and show you while we're doing it. Post processing, click OK, post. It's just going to automatically send it to where the last place you sent it, okay? And it's just going to display the file, okay? So it's not going to give you the opportunity to name it. It's going to use the naming conventions that are here. And it's got naming conventions based on the setup name, the operation name, and it's going to automatically pick up the last place that you saved the post. Now, you can use this to your advantage. If you set up a folder, you're always going to post that folder. You always know where it's at. You can just set it, save it to that folder. You don't even have to check this. If you want it to automatically create your names, you don't have to display that dialog. It'll automatically go to that folder. You'll know where it's at automatically, and it'll just display the G-code file. So that saves you time as long as you understand where it's going and where the posts are. But if you don't, and it's not displaying that dialog, check the preferences here
Hey, Don, before you cancel that dialogue, one more thing I want to point out is the first entry program to send posted file.
Yeah.
Don has set it up to be Notepad, but you can set it up to be anything. In fact, it could be even your controller software. Let's say you're using ShopBot, for instance, and you could have the path to the controller software, and most controller software will read a G-code file as input. And so you can actually launch your controller software directly from our system if you put in the exact path name up there.
Yeah.
So that's another tip, pro tip for you guys.
Yeah. Basically, you know, once you have all that set up, you know, it's working the way you want it to work. Right click post, your machine starts cutting. What, you know, how much better is that? But make sure that you understand what all is happening in the background, and so that doesn't cause you any surprises. Okay, so let's see what we got. Something else. Posting issues, we talked about that.